everyone. Welcome to our very first episode of The Complete Guide to Photography. I'm Charlotte, and I'll be guiding you through this journey of learning and mastering the art of photography. Whether you're a beginner or looking to sharpen your skills, this series will take you from understanding the basics all the way to becoming an expert. Today, we're diving into Chapter 1, the fundamentals, exposure, composition, and storytelling. So, grab your camera and let's get started. Part 1. What is photography? First off, let's talk about what photography really is. At its core, photography is about capturing moments. But beyond that, it's a powerful way to communicate and tell stories. Think of each image as a slice of time that tells a story about a place, a person, or an emotion. Photography can be as simple as taking a picture of a beautiful landscape, or as complex as capturing a deep emotional moment. And the best part, anyone can do it. But to truly make a photograph stand out, we need to understand a few essential concepts: exposure, composition, and storytelling. Part 2. Understanding exposure. Now, let's break down exposure. The first foundational concept. Exposure is about controlling the amount of light that enters your camera and hits the sensor. If you've ever taken a photo that turned out too bright or too dark, you've encountered exposure firsthand. There are three main settings that control exposure: aperture, shutter speed, and ISO. Together, they make up what's called the exposure triangle. Here's a quick overview. Aperture is the opening in your lens that lets light in. A wide aperture lets in a lot of light and creates a shallow depth of field, which can blur the background and make your subject stand out. Shutter speed is how long your camera's sensor is exposed to light. Fast shutter speeds can freeze motion, while slow shutter speeds can create motion blur. And finally, ISO controls how sensitive your sensor is to light. Higher ISO settings can brighten a dark scene, but can also add noise to your photo. By balancing these three elements, you can achieve the right exposure for any scene, whether it's a bright sunny day or a dimly lit room. Storytelling through photography. The last concept in today's episode is storytelling. Great photos do more than capture an image. They capture a feeling or a moment that resonates. Think about the story you want to tell with each shot. Are you capturing a moment of joy? A quiet landscape at sunset? Or maybe the rush of a city street? This story is often shaped by how you compose your shot and use exposure to create mood. For example, if you're trying to capture a peaceful feeling, you might choose a soft focus, natural light, and a gentle color palette. Or if you're going for energy and excitement, you might use a high contrast composition with bold colors. When you start to see photography as storytelling, your images will have a much stronger impact. People won't just look at them, they'll feel something. So, that's Chapter 1, an introduction to the basics of photography. We covered exposure, which helps you control light, composition, which lets you frame your shot in interesting ways, and storytelling, which gives your photos meaning. As we move forward in this series, we'll dive deeper into each of these concepts. we'll explore the different types of cameras and lenses you can use. And later on, we'll look at more advanced techniques and editing tips. If you found this helpful, make sure to subscribe to our podcast and follow along with the series. And don't forget to practice. Go out there, take some photos, and experiment with exposure, composition, and storytelling. Thanks for tuning in to the Complete Guide to Photography. I'm Charlotte, and I'll see you in the next episode, where we'll talk about the different types of cameras and lenses, and how to choose the right gear for your photography journey. Until then, keep capturing those moments.